Hello viewers, I am Apurva Singh and today we are going to continue with the story The Boy Who Broke the Bank. As you all know that the story was written by Ruskin Bond and I had already discussed about the first part in my previous video and I'm going to continue from the ending of the story. I had ended in the first video at the call of the elder man to the Seth Govindram. So once the man, he gives a call to the Seth Govindram, he gets to know that the Seth wasn't there at home. He was confused. Now he was shocked also that what happened, where did the owner went? He inquires further and he asks him that where is he? He gets the information that he is holidaying in Kashmir. The very fact made him startled and it also made him confirm that yes, the bank must have gone bankrupt and that is the reason why this Seth, he has left the town and he has gone. He gets back to Faiz Hussein's shop, the barber, his shop, and he says him that I am going to have my further services later on. Why? Because the bird has already flown away. Here the bird was Seth Govindram. He goes in a hurry and he was in a hasteful walk towards his office. Why? Because he wanted to take his checkbooks and his passbooks so that he can go and he can withdraw his money from the bank. With him, this rumor, it traveled to a tailor, to a vendor, to a beetle shop, to a beggar on the pavement. And this rumor from one person to another was roaming and revolving and prevailing in the whole society. Nobody wanted to know that what was the fact behind the news which was there in the society. Everybody believed whatever they heard from the other side. This rumor, it was spread in the whole society like a forest fire. Nobody was eager to understand the situation. Nobody was eager to know the reason behind it. Rather, everybody was thinking that why did this happen? There was a group of people who were congratulating and boasting about the fact that it was good that they withdrew their money before, and there were people who were happy that they never had any bank account in that bank. The other sect kept on thinking about the fact that what was the reason behind this bankruptcy. Was it the owner or maybe any fluctuations in the market or any other reason? There were others who thought that he must have flown away from the town. There were others who thought that he has left the country. And there were others who always believed that he was hiding himself somewhere in the town. In the meanwhile, a man comes up. And he says that he has one of his relatives working in the bank. And he gives him a call. He gives him a call and he inquires about the whole matter. He tells him that there's a rumor in the town and people are getting fanatic about it. The clerk says that we have been paid regularly and that's the reason why we are working here. But yes, there are few part-time workers who are not being paid regularly, but that's because the person who is in charge of their payment is on a sick leave. But that doesn't mean that the bank is not going to pay them. And he hangs the phone down. Next afternoon, by the time of afternoon, the bank was falling short of the ready money. And at this hour of time, they could not lend money from the government bank also. They were trying to convince the people that the bank has enough money and all of them will be paid, but the people were not ready to understand at all. The crowd was getting violent. There were other mischief makers also who did not have a bank account or even a penny in that bank. They also joined the crowd and they were trying to create nuisance in the society and create trouble for all the bank managers. At the end, the manager comes out and he declares that, see, we have enough money and we are going to surely pay you. But please come the next morning because today we don't have money. People did not hear them. People were not ready to decide. In the end, what happened, it was a very bad scenario that the people started to throw stones on the bank manager. Helplessly, the bank manager went inside and he gave a call to the police station. The police arrived. They stepped on the steps of the bank and they tried to control the mob to an extent, and they pushed them to an extent that they started to fall on each other. The police continued to do so until the mob disappeared. But all of them kept on shouting that they'll again return back next morning and they should get their money. So children, here do you people understand that what harm and how destructive these rumors can be? And we should not get angry to an extent that it harms the person. Anger is not good for health. Anger is not good for the society. And both of these evils are seen here. The rumor was also at its peak and the anger of the people were also at its peak. And it is also necessary to understand that when we are angry, we lose our sensibilities to understand and we lose our rationalities to analyze what is right and what is wrong. So moving ahead with the story. Now the mob disappeared. Next morning, a fresh morning comes in. At this point, we again meet Nathu. Nathu came as usually holding his broom in his hand, and he was brooming the area, and he saw all these pieces of glass, stones and all the litters around. He began to shout in terror that hooligans and gundas, and they must fall ill for doing such a job. He grumbled to himself also that initially I was just not paid regularly, and now in this irregular pay I have to work extra also. He was now very much disheartened, and yet he continued with his work. In the meanwhile, Sitaram comes. He wishes him good morning, and then he says that, Nathu, are you ready to join the new job from the 1st of this month? Nathu saw him in a confused manner. He said, why? Why do you say so? Sitaram informs him that the bank is going bankrupt, and that is the reason why people are crowding in front of the bank, and he suggested him also to stay back there until all the other customers of the bank come there and they demand for their money. Nathu could not understand because it was very difficult for him to digest the fact that such a big bank, a bank who is doing good and who is at the state of being flourishing with the good colors, how can this be possible that the bank is going to meet its bankruptcy? Yet after completing his work and while muttering to himself, he completed his work and then he sits back and he waited for the manager to come. Why? Because he was determined that once the manager comes, he'll be paid. And Sitaram bids him goodbye and says that if you will get your pay, that means consider yourself to be lucky. He sits back and he waits for the other customers to come. And he was looking hopelessly on the streets and thinking that how is it possible that the bank can go bankrupt? Unaware of the fact that the whole story began because of his own grumblings. So my dear children, the universal message which we get from this story is that never believe on rumors. Whenever you hear about something, please go back to its roots. Try to understand that why did this news come in the picture? What is the reason behind it? Otherwise, the rumor is going to be this destructive as we see in this story. And that is the reason why the title of the story is Justified, the boy, that means Nathu, who broke the bank. Thank you very much. If you like the video, please share, comment and subscribe.